RSL Nation, welcome back to the Bros.
Oops. Ooh,
Yes,
wee.
not bad, not bad. We can do better.
It was, it
Um,
was, it was decent.
just so you guys know, I am not a traitor. I'm just gonna tell you guys, I had a pretty good birthday weekend.
You did. You're getting old, my friend.
Look old, I feel old, but man, that party was rocking. And by the way, this is only because this was a birthday present. For those of you that can't see this, I got the Inter Miami Messi jersey. I would spin around, but I think my chair would block the Messi part, and I don't want to try to spin around. It says Messi on the back. I promise.
It was.
Um,
But how was your birthday?
um, Birthday day was fine, just a
All the
normal
above. All the
day.
above.
Well, I mean, I'm older. Older guys just work. You just work. You don't really take the day off, really. I mean, some people do. I
Yeah.
don't. But Sunday was the Big Bash, which
Oh, it was a bash, all right. It was a blast.
there was a lot of people. In fact, I think without doing it on purpose, I think there were 33 people there.
Yeah, almost. And you guys probably saw from our Twitter, from our picture. I got the shirt which was matching your cake, which was delicious
Yes,
with our logo on it.
props to the wife for the cake. But yeah, I had to have an RSO Bros cake. Um,
It was good. It was delicious.
but how was your weekend? And sure, how was the party for you?
Party was fun. We played some volleyball, and even when it was dark, even when you can't even see, so it was a blast. Food was good. You're 1 year older. Who knows about Wiser?
Who knows about Wiser? But I do know that I did, I did feel like I was like at a little kids party a little bit, not because of all the little kids around there,
There was
but
no bounce house though.
because of the decorations. My
Ah, ah.
because my wife really loves to decorate with things that's what someone likes. Um, my wife decorated the house, the background of the birthday cake with messy stuff because I love messy, obviously. And so yeah, I kind of felt like I was a little kid again, just decorating with stuff that I like.
It's okay. For my birthday, can we get a bounce house and a mechanical bull?
You're gonna need to pay for that. I yeah, you're
Th
not my
th th
kid.
those are on my wish list for my birthday.
You might have to ask RSL mom and dad for that.
No, but it's been a hot one so far. It was a very hot one I ref today. We had a couple of water breaks and thank goodness. I was dying.
Yep. It's a hot one. I was out at the pool and I think my face is kind of matching my shirt right now. I- I'm I don't
Nice.
does it look like I'm kind of
Yeah,
pink?
nice pink salmonishy color.
Stop it. Um so it's been a week and
It's
we've
been a,
had
it's
time
been a
to
hot minute.
but we've had time to cool down. Um we had our Leagues Cup exit. We've had a couple of other different types of news, and now the team is preparing themselves for the following week. But
Mhm.
let's let's take it slow because there's a lot of things that we want to talk about in terms of our exit from the League's Cup.
Absolutely.
We lost 4-0 to LAFC.
Mhm.
That that in overall sense, what how would you describe that game in few words? In a few words, if you were to describe it, how would you describe it?
First half, decent. Like it was passable. Like I would I saw that we were still tied 0-0. If, for those who don't know, I started watching the game at halftime. So, and then when tuned in and I started watching second half, that's when I was like, well, maybe I should shut this off. But I I wasn't disappointed because for those who have seen how good LAFC has been over the years and our record against them, not too surprised.
Well, my friend, that was a lot of words. I would describe this game as expected,
Yeah.
though not hoped for. In fact, I do want to just real quick thank everyone for taking the poll. Like I think it was the couple hours before the game actually started. No, sorry, not a couple games after. I'm confusing my words. Um, the day after we got eliminated, I asked everyone how everyone felt. Um, and 45% of you out of the 110 that voted, 45% said that RSL did well, but they wanted more. They wanted more Leagues Cup out of RSL, which that's I I
Can,
voted.
can you go wrong? I want more. I want silverware. RSL's trophy case is kind of it's getting too many cobwebs up there.
It's true, but I think the team had potential to do more, but they didn't. So
Yeah.
let's get into that game and give our perspective of what went wrong.
Let's get to the nitty-gritty. So this, of course, was the revenge game for Moose and Chicho, playing against their former clubs who they won MLS Cup with last season. But besides those two starting up top, which is kind of the obvious one, I think the biggest elephant in the room that everybody had their was scratching their head was Gomez starting over Luna.
Yes. The only thing I can attribute to Gomez starting over Luna, and I think the majority of us can agree on is speed. Luna is not the quickest,
Hmm.
though he's probably the most technical for that side of the field.
Absolutely.
So with Hollingshead at their back right position,
Hmm.
we decided to put Gomez on our left hand side to face him because Hollingshead is supposedly not a fast defender. In fact, the only defender that we actually didn't have an advantage over would have been Palacios.
Hmm.
Um, and so that's why we put Savarino on that side is more of a technical skill against speed on that side. So um, yeah, Gomez in on this game was a huge surprise.
Because if you look past these past couple games back at home, he hasn't had I can't remember when was the last time he had a start.
I can tell you here in just a second. Give you a start. You want it like a start? Um,
Yeah,
June 17th.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. It just seems kind of odd and weird, right in this game where we win and then we're on to the quarterfinals to be starting him against a very good LAFC team.
Yeah, again, it was a super surprise. And
Yeah.
for one, we're just gonna start off on a bad note. We think that was a mistake. For me, that was a mistake. Um, do you want me? Here's my conspiracy theory. If Luna would have started, Pablo Ruiz wouldn't have gotten injured.
You know that I can't agree to that because there's a lot of ifs.
Again, just a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Just sleep on it. Think about it.
But but yeah, like every loss that happens, I guess in RSL history, there's always what if such and such player, what if we would have made this play? But yeah, I've been thinking about that for the past week. I'm like, Luna probably would have been better on the attack.
So with uh with Luna not playing, we had a Glad Silva center back pairing, which
Hmm.
again I wouldn't have preferred that. I was no Vera wasn't suspended, so I would have had Vera instead of Silva, to be
Yep.
honest.
Vera and Oviedo and Bodie and Loflison and even Kryluk, they were just still camping out on the bench.
Yeah, but let's get into this first half. So
Yeah.
the first half had what we what I saw was a lot of possession from LAFC
Hmm.
and a lot of just defensive marking, defensive positioning from RSL, trying
Yeah.
to avoid being down at halftime.
Yeah. That, that
Um,
that's pretty much what it was. We were
it,
being very defensive, so we just don't give up that early goal lead, which was good on our part because we've seen that happen at home where we've given up an early goal and then we're just kind of chasing the rest of the game.
yeah, and chasing. chasing the game against an LAFC team, obviously we know this, is not ideal. And
No.
so therefore I think that was the plan, especially after, I mean, the first couple of minutes was just a lot of back and forth, trying to get used to the game. In fact, it wasn't even back and forth. It was like a very hesitant. That's why I felt like it was they're both teams were hesitant because they both know the firepower that both have
Yeah.
until the 13th minute.
Yeah. That's unfortunate, sad way to go out. We've seen how well Pablo Ruiz has been for us this season in our midfield, and unfortunate injury for him.
And it looked like I haven't seen any camera angle as to what exactly happened, but it looked like it was a non-contact injury, which
Yeah.
which is
It
absolutely
looks
sad.
like the way he landed, unfortunately, he came down awkwardly.
Hmm. Yeah, in fact, I can't even tell you the player or what even happened. That's because all of us were like, "The heck?" He's on the ground and he's in pain. You know, that's all you
Yeah.
saw.
Yeah.
Um,
And then of course Nelson Palacio comes in. Do you feel like, well, we don't have that many options when it comes to defensive mid? Do you feel like that was the right choice, or would you rather have seen maybe Luna come in instead?
I think we're hmm. Oh, that's a good question. So if Luna would have come in, I would have maybe um pulled
We would have.
Sava into the middle and moved Gomez to the other side. So it would
Yeah.
have been a Luna Gomez with a Sava. We would have played a diamond.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we wouldn't have been playing a 4-2 4-2 2
Well, I guess
2.
4-4-2, but
But the four in the middle would have been a diamond formation.
yeah, that's ideally what I would have wanted to see, because we'll get into it more in a second, but it just felt like Nelson wasn't there in some parts of the game.
Well, so in fact, let's just get into it because that's what a majority of the first half ended up being was a lot of defensive workings,
Hmm.
but especially done by Palacio. He ended up playing very defensively,
Hmm.
whereas Ojeda had to take the offensive role in that midfield.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
which
I
he
didn't
doesn't really do much of that often.
right. So Ojeda doesn't usually take that much of an offensive role. That's what I've noticed, and it's more
Hmm.
Ruiz that does
Yeah,
that. Um,
yeah.
First half, I didn't have any issues with Palacio. I really didn't. In fact, the team played enough to be able to be able to stay in the game.
Yeah, like if we look at the first half stats, yes, the LAFC was owning us in possession with 60-40, and as well as passes, they're at 205 to our 127. But we were pretty consistent when it comes to our shots. Like, we are at 5 shots. Unfortunately, none of them were on target. But the fact that we were getting shots, getting those opportunities, that was a good sign for us.
Yeah, I mean, we weren't letting down. So, um, yes, less possession, but the possession that we had ended up being fruitful in where we had shots, we had opportunities. So going into halftime, I think we are confident that we were able to keep up that level of play,
Yeah,
right? So we get into the second half, and the second half ends up being a weird switch around in terms of stats, but in terms of play as well. It was for me, it was the weirdest thing that happened.
it seemed like this second half, because we see 3 goals in 10 minutes, where it's literally us chasing to get back into transition, us not being in the right position, and it's sad.
Well, yeah, so Bouanga's goal.
Hmm.
We end up getting possession. Um, Brody passes it to Ojeda. Ojeda loses possession of the ball, and they turn it around and ends up being a counterattack.
Yeah.
Within 3 touches, it is a counterattack, and Bouanga has the ball at his feet.
And RSL should have known. Well, they should do their homework. We see a Bouanga who's already at 10 plus goals in the MLS regular season, how fast he is, how skilled he is with the ball. you can't leave that much space back there for Bouanga, and it was Palacio. Palacio kind of lost sight of Bouanga, and he had to go chase back and get him, and there wasn't enough time.
So it's kind of hard that this situation. So follow me on this. So the situation is this for me. The play, all this starts with a free kick. We get
Yeah.
a free kick, launch it in, and it gets rejected out. And
Hmm.
from that rejection, it goes out to Brody and goes into that sequence that I just mentioned.
Yeah.
What happens when we have free kicks and the free kicks are going to be kicked into the penalty box? What
Of course, of
who
course,
goes up?
you're gonna have Glad and Silva, and maybe some other defensive players. But I, it it's just like I said.
I mean, but that's where I'm going at. It's
Yeah.
that because we can't rely all our defensiveness on Palacio, who happened to be the last defender back there because he was dropping back to hopefully receive the ball from Brody.
Yeah.
Brody chose not to pass the ball to him. So Palacio kept dropping back a little bit more once he saw that Ojeda lost the ball and
Hmm.
that LAFC was going to counter the other way.
Yeah.
But by that time, there was already 5 yards difference, probably more, between him and Buanga.
Yeah.
Buanga,
Yeah. There was definitely a lot more space than that, but yeah,
I mean,
he
the
gave.
ball gets placed perfectly behind the back line.
Mhm.
Um, One thing though, and I think I share some ideas with the Twitter followers, is that maybe Palacio, when Buanga gets the ball, there should have been a tactical foul.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. I I don't know if that would have maybe changed things because of Bowanga's speed, but that would have helped out a lot. Maybe grab his shoulder, do like a nice little slide tackle. Obviously, a card would have been in place, but that definitely would have helped.
And actually, as I'm talking, I'm actually thinking that if a foul would have happened
That would have been.
before Brody got in, you're looking on the borderline,
I
maybe
was gonna.
red.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a red. That's easily dog so right there.
Well, I wouldn't say easily, but that's what I'm saying. You're looking at the ref has to make a decision right there. And
Mhm.
I wouldn't want to leave the decision in the hands of the referee. So again, who do you blame on that one? I don't know. I think it was just a really good counterattack, and Buanga is a really good player. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, yeah, very very good counterattack. Not much you can do when we're down a guy in a sense with having Ruiz being injured and Palacio being thrown right into the fire.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how much would have changed if Ruiz was in that position. I really don't. Because of how well that counter was. But um
We transition over to the second goal, which I think out of these four goals, this one was the one that hurt the most, honestly.
for me, even though 2-0 is one of the most dangerous leads in soccer,
Yeah.
this one felt like a nail in the coffin.
Easily. I kind of felt a little optimistic when Buonga scored that first one, but when he scored this scored his brace, I was like, game over, game over.
So the and we talked about this before coming on. Um, we can't really determine what Glad was thinking. And we all know that he feels super bad about
Oh,
it.
absolutely.
I
It,
mean,
it it happened in the Monterey game too, where he had that own goal, and then he has this as well.
yeah, so he's I bet he's feeling mentally in a slump right now.
Yeah,
But maybe to come to his defense, when Glad receives the ball from Marcelo, when you look up from Glad's perspective, you don't see anyone in the midfield. You have Bawanga. I mean, picture yourself in Justin's shoes. You have
yeah,
Bawanga coming from your right side, and Nelly is basically hiding behind Bawanga. You can't pass it to Nelly. You
not
have
at all.
Palacio that's coming up from the center midfield circle. Like he's still another 20 yards away from you with a
Hmm.
couple of defenders that right in there that could steal the pass. You
Yeah,
have Ojedas coming in from a little more on your left hand side, but kind of also a little bit behind a defender. You have Marcelo's being marked, and so the
there's no space, nobody to pass to.
the decision that that Glad had to make was this: do I risk passing it forward to someone else, or should I try to pass it back to McMath? Unfortunately, the decision was half a second late.
He, you don't have enough time when you literally have the speed of Bawanga. We were kind of talking about it beforehand. I think he wouldn't have had enough time, but maybe done a quick pass back to McMath or left footed out of bounds, which not enough time
It,
for any
it,
of those things. It's literally split second.
it should have been just a blast anywhere. I don't care where you blast it to, but
Yeah.
just a blast. But the decision was to pass it back to McMath because you can see his body turn to pass it to
Hmm.
McMath, but literally in that same split second, Bouanga sticks his foot
Yeah.
in.
As he turns his body, it's just open path for Bawanga. And if you see, McMath is literally on his left hand side, which leaves that right side wide open for
Yeah.
Bawanga.
He was going out of the mouth of the goal because that's what you do as a goalkeeper. You don't want them to pass it in the mouth of the goal. Um, but let's give credit where credit is due. Bouanga is a great, in fact, I should say excellent striker.
Oh
That
yeah,
that's the kind of striker that you want on your team. Someone who will sniff out that ball.
yeah. He's the type of striker. So he finishes this game with a brace. I think he's up to six goals right now in the tournament, something like that. That they're at. But he's definitely one of those players that I could easily see maybe making a trip and landing in Europe sometime. So very, very skilled, cheeky player.
Um, yeah. In fact, I like watching Bouanga
Hmm.
outside of playing RSL. He's
Oh
a
yeah.
really good striker.
I'm not a fan of any LA teams or any players, but he's one I can maybe consider liking.
I mean, look, we have Chicho now on our team. I mean, look, we now like him.
Yeah, yeah, but
And then the third goal, um, the third goal was just a combination of lack of pressure,
hmm.
bad positioning, bad rotation, and bad anticipation for me.
Yeah, yeah. So
Uh,
if you go back to it, we see we had Nelson, who is very far up, and then Anelli, when he does that slide, he kind of gets caught out of position as well.
yeah, so we have Ilya Sanchez has a buttload of space, just like what people have been saying about Busquets lately, that Busquets seems to have like all the time in the world to just make decisions. That's
Right?
what Ilya Sanchez had in this situation. He had
Exactly.
no pressure for at least 10 yards, um, which gave their forwards enough time to start making their runs or planning their runs. So
Hmm.
he had a winger and a striker right in front of him. Um, and in this case, we had Anelli, who was in between the winger and the striker. We had Palacios that was in front of that striker. We had Glad that was supposed to be marking that one striker with Ojeda kind of just lingering slightly
And then
to
and then
off to
you
the
and
side.
then you have and then you have Marcelo right there in the middle.
Well, Marcelo is more obviously a little farther away from the ball. So
Yeah.
when Ilie Sanchez is coming in, he's waiting for the defense to move so that way he can make a decision. So
Hmm.
Palacio comes in to pressure Sanchez finally. When he does that, he leaves that striker that Glad was supposedly marking. So when that happens, Glad starts moving with the striker over, but at the same time, and Nelly decided to move over with that striker as well, leaving the winger open.
Yeah.
When the winger gets left open, the pass goes out to that winger, and Anelli, um, instead of staying up on his feet
Yeah.
and making
If he stayed on his feet and didn't do like that slide or that stab for the ball, maybe he would have had an attempt for it. But it's like what you said. It's those what ifs.
right, I mean that's the whole point of this show is what ifs, right? um,
But
because again,
Marcelo kind of got beat to that. He didn't body that player.
right. So then there's a third player that comes run into the area. Marcelo has the advantage in terms of Marcelo was supposed to be defensively already in front of that ball. That guy starts making a run, and Marcelo gets gets put right behind him. So that striker goes right in front of him. Um, and so there's a lot of, like I said, lack of pressure, lack of positioning, lack of anticipation. I can't
Yeah.
remember what the fourth thing I said was, but there's just lacking everywhere. And so that third goal um, was just a defensive
I
breakdown, letdown.
I definitely, this is just me. I definitely think it might have been different if maybe it was Glad Vera, because we've seen how well Glad and Vera work together when it is those transitions, and when we do need somebody to body somebody up, because Vera is a player who is good at bodying guys up.
Well, Vera is the younger version of Silva. I think
Yeah,
if Silva was 10 years younger, he would have.
he's the younger James Olave.
Yes. So, um, I think that would be another reason why I would have put in Vera. Granted, I don't know if Vera would have made much of a difference,
Yeah,
because we've seen Vera make mistakes as well. So,
100%.
um, that's where I'm like, I'm just gonna chalk this one up to a, a lackluster defensive effort, for
Yeah,
that third goal.
yeah, and then onto the fourth one, to put the dagger into the coffin, just to bury it completely.
Yeah, that in fact, at this point, the only thing I remember is that the guy shoots it and it deflects off of Brody.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was.
Oh, now I remember. It was now I remember that now since you mentioned that. Glad making a bad pass in the offensive third. That pass leads to another counterattack. So this fourth one was just another counterattack. Which
Nobody, not in my position, not coming back.
so going back to the stats of that half then, we ended up having the most
All the bit,
possession.
yeah.
Um
The most passes.
yes, but we did not end up having the most shots, which brings me to my conclusion. My
Hmm.
conclusion is the team that had the most passes were playing more defensive in this
Yeah.
game. The first half, LAFC were more hesitant than we were. In fact, if you look at the first half and the kind of passes that they had, um, the majority of LAFC's passes, which ends up being a lot of their possession, were
Hmm.
passes in their own half.
Yeah. So they're kind of just camping back.
Yeah, so it was defensive. They're trying to position to see if they can move forward. If
Hmm.
you look at the second half when we had the majority of the possession,
Yeah.
again, the majority of the passes were in the defensive half.
Yeah.
So the possession in this game was not offensive possession. It
It was
was
just very, very, very defensive.
defensive possession. And what actually worked were counterattacks or fast attacks.
Would things have been different? If we were able to get back in transition and be able to stop Bawanga on getting a brace and all those things on, I think maybe we would have stood a chance. But like I said before, I'm glad that we lost, just because LAFC's the better team, and it just gives us time to rest, of course. Unfortunate, Pablo Ruiz did pick up that knock.
Well, let's talk about that now. So Pablo
Yeah,
Ruiz ended up being a right meniscus tear.
and
I've never injured my knee. Have you?
yeah, I've never, no,
Oh,
just
wait, I do remember. I did hyperextend my left knee. That didn't feel good.
woo. But for those of you who have, it says 4 to 6 months. Is that correct?
So the team doctor came out and said that normally these injuries with this surgery end up being a 4 to 6 month recovery and game time ready,
Yeah.
playing level.
So the only chance of Pablo Ruiz coming back this season is if we're to make the MLS Cup, everybody. So realistically, he's out the rest of the season.
Yeah, so without jinxing our playoffs, if we do not get to the final, this will basically be the end of Pablo Ruiz's season. Even then, if we do get to the final, I wouldn't be playing him anyways.
Yeah, yeah, because we've seen players for RSL come back from injury, and it's still a long process. Remember Javi Morales and everybody else. It's just a long, long process. You don't want to rush injuries at all.
No, that's why I've been saying in our tweets, we hope for a fast but complete recovery. We want to make
Yeah.
sure that he is completely healthy.
Oh,
Nothing
100%.
there's nothing worse than rushing him back into play so that way we can have him again. We're fine. And in fact, maybe that's my question too. How confident or how do you feel with our midfield without Ruiz?
Oh, terrified.
Whoa,
Absolutely
gosh.
terrified. Well, maybe I
Thanks for the confidence.
I'm I'm worried for the fact that we've seen how well Pablo Ruiz has been when it comes to goals, his assists. So that's just very big shoes for Nelson or even Lofson to fill.
But I think at the same time, this is for these exact reasons is why we pick up extra players for these positions.
Yeah,
Imagine not having Palacio, and we would be stuck with Lawfulson,
Lofson,
and who's the backup?
Scott Caldwell.
Scott Caldwell. So, granted, I bet he's a really good guy, but
Sorry, Scott, if
really,
you're listening.
yeah, sorry, Scott. But we need people that are up to speed that can fill in those shoes of
Yeah,
Pablo.
like I'm absolutely excited to see what Nelson's going to produce this rest of the season for these regular season games for Open Cup coming up next week to see if he can contribute to goals, assists, and what kind of playmaker he is on the field.
And probably contrary to a lot of people's beliefs, I actually don't think that Palacio played bad. In fact, I think it's really hard to be put into those positions, one when you're new to the team, and two when
Mm-hmm.
you're playing against one of the better teams or one of the best teams in
Runner up in Concacaf.
runner-up in CONCACAF, MLS Cup champions, and not they haven't changed the team a whole lot. There have been key players that have been moved around,
Yeah,
but the core of the team is still there. And
and
so,
and what's kind of scary is they won 4-0 against us without Vela, who was injured, of course.
yeah, I mean, now stop here. Vela is old. He's
Is
getting old. Yeah, you want me to tell you how old Vela is? I will tell you how old Vela is.
lay it on me.
Carlos Carlos Vela. How old are you? 34 years old.
He,
Ah,
he
you
he's
didn't think
he's still been able to contribute this season. He's at 8 goals, 4 assists for LAFC.
he's the second highest contributor on the team besides Bawanga.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Age is just a number, my friend.
Age is just a number. But if you've noticed, if you've been watching any kind of MLS, especially LAFC, he's been slower. He's been more injury prone. He hasn't been playing as much or as fast or
For sure,
as
for sure.
well. So to say that even if LAFC without Carlos Vela is still LAFC. In fact, the last three times that we've played against them, we haven't scored a goal. We've been shut out 9-0 the past three times we've played them.
Yeah, I don't think we have a worse record against any other MLS team. So we've only won twice against LAFC. So very, very, very sad record.
We've beat them twice and they've beat us 13
Oh,
times.
oh, 13. I was gonna say 15.
No, 13 times. That's
So
crazy.
so LAFC moved on. They advanced to the quarterfinals where they played Monterrey, where that one was an epic battle. They played that at the Rose Bowl. They don't LAFC didn't want to play it at their home stadium for who knows what reason.
So let's switch gears here. So let's take a break with Marcel because that was a really rough one to talk about. But
Yeah,
the
that was a
Leagues Cup.
sad.
Leagues Cup has had a lot of intense games.
Oh,
There's been controversies. There's been more messy goals. There's
there's been
been
a lot of PK shootouts,
a lot of PK shootouts.
a,
So
a, a lot of VAR.
yeah, um, So
Yeah.
there's been a lot of stuff going on, and unfortunately, we don't have the time or the memory to go over every single one. But I'm going to ask you, Marcos,
Hmm.
what is one game out of this elimination round that you have enjoyed that really caught your eye? Which game for you?
Ooh.
You have to choose one. And if you can't choose one, choose two, but be brief.
The one that really stands out. I was gonna say that probably it's probably two. It's probably the LAFC Monterey because LAFC up 2-0. Monterey comes back, wins that 3-2. Amazing game. Amazing game. But the one that really stands out to me that was unbelievable, which I'm kind of sad that they lost, was America Nashville. That one was by far, um, you guys might disagree, but probably by far the best game right now in the knockout round. Nashville won that 6-5 on PKs, but America thought they won that, but the goalie came off his line. Next kick after that, Nashville kicks it, wins the game on penalty kicks. Oh, crazy, crazy finish.
Now I'm gonna bring it back and I'm gonna make do it justice because maybe that was a little too fast of a rerun, but the going over that shootout, that the PK that got reviewed by VAR. What is your opinion? Was the goalkeeper off his line
Oh,
or not?
oh, easily. He was off his line.
Yeah.
Like
Now,
you can see that as clear as day.
another question. I'm gonna just start throwing questions at you. Has VAR ruined the game with
Or,
what we've seen so far in Leagues
or,
Cup?
or from Leafs Cup.
From
I
Leagues
don't
Cup,
think so.
has
No,
has, has VAR hasn't ruined anything
no, because look at look at the changes that they've made, and I think it's helped out quite a lot from that penalty shootout to other calls. So
because
I think
there have been other calls that have been no calls or calls that have been called and not reversed that
yeah,
have caused a lot of heartache, trauma, PTSD.
PTSD. No, but I think overall, I think VAR has done what they're there for in making good calls. Of course, like every ref and everything, they're gonna miss some. There might be controversy, but they've done a decent job.
I mean, you know me, I'm very pro referee, but there have been ones where you're just like, in fact, I'll give you my one or two games.
Yeah, what
So
was your favorite game so far from the knockout?
my favorite game has been
Your non messy.
no, I can't do a non-messy one. Come on. All right, fine. I'm gonna do a one messy one and then one non-messy one. Um, favorite one, messy one has been Dallas, Miami.
Oh
Oh
my,
my goodness.
pobre Dallas.
No, that was awesome. That was epic. That was yeah. I
The
can't say enough good things.
comeback of the century.
That was great. That was great. Yeah, I'm not even gonna get into any details except for two messy goals. The last one, the game time free kick. Holy cow.
And
Um,
you got Jesus Ferreira really laying down and just watching it all laying down.
let's just say that there's a lot of people that have conspiracy theories about that game
Yeah,
because the Jesus Ferreira breakaway, people are like, just put the ball away, put it in the back of the net. He ends up tripping over the ball. Like
yeah.
everyone's like, no, that's planned. That has to be planned. I'm not gonna say a word because I have no opinion. Plus, I like Messi. But
But
if I were to choose a non MLS game,
yeah,
or sorry, non Messi game,
non-messy.
um, my favorite, I'm just gonna have to go with RSL Leon.
Mm, that was a good one. Yeah, I can't go wrong.
I mean, I'm gonna homer this one. I liked it. One because of the
We we
Thursday
we
rain out.
well, we came back from being down a goal.
Right, we were down a goal. We ended up surviving a Thursday rain out with a raccoon.
Yeah,
I think just for us, for us and those involved with the game, that was memorable.
that was a good one. there's been this tournament overall has been more than anybody's expected. This has been so well done. Great game so far. So right now we're on to the semifinals, which are tomorrow. So we
today.
got well today, yes. So we got Monterrey against Nashville, Philly against Miami. So two good matchups right there.
All right, so because we're not going to do prediction time for an RSL game, we're going to do a mini prediction time.
For
We're
sure.
not
Let's do it. Why not?
let's do it. Let's predict both these games. Yeah?
Oh,
Let's
okay.
let's start with Mon-
Monterrey, Nashville.
let's do it. What do you have?
Um, Unfortunately, like 2 games ago, Berterame got hurt in the Portland game, so still really butthurt about that because he was doing so
You
well.
you butthurt. That's probably not the best term to use for that one. Oh my goodness. You're
But
funny.
I'm gonna go I'm gonna go 2-1, 2-1 Monterrey.
Oh, this is a spicy.
Mhm.
2-1, huh? I think because Monterey hasn't been so last game they struggled the first half.
But
Not having
look where they're playing.
right. That's what I'm saying. If they struggle against LAFC, I think they might struggle against Nashville. Nashville beating America. America being one of the powerhouses as well. I think I'm gonna reverse you and I'm gonna go 2-1 Nashville.
Interesting, interesting.
Also because we have RSL sister living in Nashville. Shout out to RSL sister.
Shout out to her. But then
um
then we switch it over to Philly, Miami.
Ooh.
Ooh, so we know Philly has a lot of players that are going to be out. I think Gazdag is going to be out for this game for injury. He wasn't playing in their last game. So Messi's at 8 goals in 4 games so far. So I'm going to go. Oh, what
Five
is it?
games.
5 games. Excuse me. I'm going to go I'm going to go 3-1 Miami.
What?
Be-
What?
yeah. Just because Philly's going to be without a lot of players. And if you look at the formation that they played in their last game, they were playing with 3 defenders. So yeah, I'm going strong with Miami in this one.
Hmm. Who'd you say was out for Philly?
Gazdag.
It looks like they've been doing just fine without Gazdag because they've won almost all their games. So, here's the thing. I think Miami's gonna win, but it's gonna be by a narrow margin because Philly has been doing well. Um, their midfield has been on point with Wagner, McGlynn, Bueno, Mbaizo,
I can't forget Andre Blake and goal.
and Andre Blake in goal, which, yeah, that's a, let's just say we're going to go 2-1. 2-1
2-1.
Miami.
Yeah, I think yeah, like I said, both semifinals are very good. Like you have the Kings of Mexico, you have Messi,
You have King of the World.
you have King of the World, you have Philly who won the Eastern Conference last year, and then you got Nashville.
Yeah, this is getting good.
Yeah. So what more can you ask for? So
I can ask for a lot. I can ask for an RSL being in this tournament still.
hey, no need to worry because we have our tournament. We have semifinals next week. No need to worry, my friend.
This is true. We play on Sunday, semifinal Wednesday, another game on Saturday. So next week is full. Stay tuned because we're doing another episode this week where we're gonna break down
Our
um
Sunday game against Los Angeles.
Sunday game, and we're gonna do part one breaking down of Open Cup because there's
It's gonna
there,
get it's gonna get juicy. Like everybody, stay tuned.
yeah.
But if you guys are not already following us, head to Twitter head to Instagram, head to Threads at the RSL Bros. If you're watching this, subscribe. And if you want to watch this, head to Spotify, where you can just go to the gym, go to run errands, go to work, and just pop it in your ears and just listen to us on the go.
It's true. It's true. I would suggest doing all of them.
All of the above, and give us a review while you're on the good old Spotify.
Give us a review, give us a comment, tell us how much you love us. Don't tell us how much you hate us.
But you want to send them off?
Sure. Ciao ciao.
Ciao!